Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. It's Georgia here, and this is the Bible journaling page project for our September 2020 virtual art retreat in the silence. If you're watching this during the actual retreat time, which is the 28th of September through to the 1st of October 2020, and if you're not already part of our Facebook group, God's Refrigerator, please come on over and join us. Then you will get links in advance of all the projects, and you can show us your creations as we go along and join in the chat and everything else that goes on. So what I'm doing today, and again, this is another simple project. All the projects this month are fairly quick and easy and simple, mainly because I have just been through a big house move and just there hasn't been time. That's it, honesty. I haven't had time. So I'm keeping all the projects quite short and quick and simple. So our Bible journaling page, you could actually use this for any theme and any page you like. It's a nice, simple kind of background. I'm using watercolors today, so I have not prepped the page at all. I'm all over the place. I was going to do this in the real journaling Bible, but I'd already painted the page that I want to use. So today I am using the demonstration Bible, as I like to call it. Now, of course, you can use any verse you like. The design that we're doing will really lend itself to anything, and you can personalize it as you wish. I am actually in Psalm 62 today, and my focus verse for this retreat is Psalm 62, 5. For God alone my soul waits in silence, for my hope is from him. So I am going to, she stops herself. Okay, yeah, okay, never mind. See, this is the thing. I've just been through this move and stuff disappears. Stuff it's on my desk, goes into the void of things that are lost. All right. Okay, so what I'm actually going to start by masking tape or washi taping over my focus verse. Now, once again, I have not prepped the page. I know I did say at one point that I was going to prep every page no matter what, simply to give the pages a bit more thickness, because this being a regular Bible as opposed to a journaling Bible, the pages are very, very thin. But I also know that watercolors do not like going over gesso, so I'm just going to leave this page as it is. Now, I have very, very good washi tape, so off screen you can't see me, but I've just stuck it on my jeans a couple of times and ripped it off so that it's not too sticky. Because of course, I can't find that wonderful Sizzix tape. It's somewhere. It's in a box. I'm still unpacking boxes. Okay, and what I'm doing is I actually have two sets of watercolors here. I have my Prima Confections in Woodlands, and I also have just a cheap a variety store, kind of your Dollar Tree kind of place, watercolor pan. They're not the best, but they're good enough for background, kind of like what we're doing today. And what I'm doing is I'm just using two colors. So I'm using a blue, which is why I wanted this one. I like the blue. I'm using a blue and a grey, and I'm just doing just a very rough wash over the page in kind of colour splotches. So I'm making it quite watery, because I do want it to be light. Now, this is a great project for anyone who does not like covering the words in their Bible, because you will find that until the point where I actually write something, everything else that I'm doing is quite translucent and lends itself very well to painting over the page but not hiding your words. So I'm using the, what did I say, blue, oh dear, and a grey as well. I know it sounds a bit strange, but it actually ends up being quite a nice colour scheme. So So all I'm doing really is just painting some random bits here and there. And I'm not even painting all of the page, I'm actually leaving some white as well. And again, this is just background. If it gets too dark, I just add some water. This is just to have a bit of colour in the background. Always hard getting close to the spine, especially after my bad Bible page ripping experience of the past. I always get really nervous when I get close to the spine and where all the pages can come undone. That's too dark, so I've just added a bit more water. Okay, and that I think is going to be good for me. She says as she puts on more colour. It's a little bit more over here. And a bit more over there. Okay, now it's going to be good for me. So now I'm just going to let that dry naturally. I have come back to the page once it's dry. Now I know it's still a little bit crinkly, but that's okay because it will over time, with the weight of the Bible being closed on it, will flatten the page out and it will become smooth and flat eventually. So I'm not really not worried about that right now. Now what I'm going to do is just put a little bit more colour over the top using acrylic paints. I'm using Kaiser Craft Sage and my gold Dina Wakley. This one's called Gilt. I'm using these two paints, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin them down with some gel medium, and what that will do is it will make them more translucent, so that once again I won't be painting over the words in such a way that you can't read them. Now I've scored myself a little plastic tray off something because, you know, I still can't find stuff. I still have stuff missing. So good to have something that I can use. So I'm just putting a little bit of the sage green onto my makeshift palette, a bit of the gold, and you really don't need very much at all. I've actually put way too much there, it came out too quickly. Opposite problem here. There we go. And I hope the light is better today because I bought a new desk lamp that's quite bright, and I think that's helping with the funny shadows that the downlights were forming. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm putting 2 blobs of the gel medium. Again, I put too much. And what you want to do is add the colour to the gel medium, not the other way around, because otherwise you'll just use so much gel medium trying to lighten up your colours. So this is my gold, and even though it still looks quite opaque, once painted on the page it will translucent out. There's a word I made up. And a little bit of the sage into here. Now you could use a palette knife for this bit here, but I just like to use my brush. And all I'm going to do is with each of the colours, I'm just going to paint some streaks along the page. Sort of here, there and everywhere. I might actually put my paper down. And in some places I'm actually letting it sit quite thick like this, and in other places I am going to thin it out. It's not so easy working with this regular Bible. It obviously was not made to be painted on, so the pages don't like to sit where I want them. I'm painting a little bit along the border. And once I've cleaned my brush, I'm actually cleaning my brush today. I know I don't often do that. I usually go straight from one colour to the next. Then I do the same thing with the sage. And I'm actually going to add a little bit more colour because that's too light for me. I'm giving it some more of the coloured paint into the gel medium. That's better. Yeah, it's not Georgia without some finger painting. Now you could keep these streaks to just one part of the page. You could just make a border with them. I've just gone all over the page for no apparent reason, just seems to be where I'm going today. And I am still, while it's fairly new, going to peel off that washi tape just before it gets too much of a hold, because we all know what happens when washi tape sticks too well to our Bible pages and we peel it off and the words come off as well. Even though I stuck it to my clothes a couple of times, I'm still being very, very careful because it still has quite a grip. I really, really need to find my Sizzix tape. Okay, and I will now let that dry. Great, and once that is dry, what I'm going to do is just write my focus verse quite large across the top half of the page. Now, if you don't want to be covering your words like I have here, you might like to write out your verse in the margin if you have a journaling Bible that has a wide margin for journaling and drawing. Or you could actually write it on something separate and stick it on as a tip-in. Or you could write it along the top. Or you might want to not write it at all. It's completely up to you. Make the page your own. So I've thickened up some of the lines, and I will let that dry completely before actually rubbing out the pencil lines. And then what I'm going to do, I told you this was going to be a nice, quick, easy project. I'm going to get my thinner. I actually used my thick Uniball. This one's called Gel Impact. So it's a thicker Uniball gel pen. And there is a little bit of bleed through it, just a tiny bit. Just you can just barely see it. Sort of, I would call it ghosting rather than bleed through. But I would expect that with these really thin pages, so I'm not concerned. I'm now using my thinner black gel pen from Uniball once again, just to, well, number one, to go around my verse as I do. And yeah, just a little doodling there. And then I am going to just do a bit of a scribble border all the way around the page. Again, as I do. I think it tends to bring the page together a bit when you do something like that. It's not so easy on these very, very thin pages. I'm not making excuses. It's just the very flimsy pages, but that's okay. And just some little scribbles along my border there. And then if you wanted to put a date, you could put a date somewhere. Oh, it's September, isn't it? September 2020. You could write whatever. Now, if this was in my journaling, my proper journaling Bible, I dare say this area here would then get filled with secret journaling. Not so secret because it's out in the open, but you know what I mean. So my special journaling would be written all over here. Because this is the demonstration Bible, I won't be actually writing any of my personal journaling in this. There is some going in the other one though. Okay, so just need this to dry now. So I cheated a little bit and I used my heat tool to quickly dry and set the pen. and I've rubbed out all my pencil lines, and so this is it. Quick, simple project. This is a really great one when you really want to get into your Bible journaling. You know the verse, but you've just got no inspiration or no idea of what you want to do with it. Something nice and simple. Watercolor wash, a bit of color, highlight your focus verse, write it out again, because that's the important part, not the art and the, sorry, banging noises. Sorry. But yeah, that's the important part, not the art and the look at how clever I am and let's put this on social media and see how many likes we get. It's the words that are important, and the message, and what God is saying to you through these pages. Nice simple page for our 2020 virtual art retreat in the silence. All my social links are down below. Come on over and join us. We'd love to see your pages. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Bye.